All right, guys. So what we're going to do is I'm going to kind of give you guys an intro to codingBat, and this is where you guys are going to start doing exercises. If you're ever done with stuff, this is where you're going to spend a lot of time. codingBat and some of the other sites that I have given you, codingBat, Coding Games, and Project Euler, all are really good programs for you to start learning how to problem solve using code. A lot of times we may not know may not understand the whole problem, but if we can break it up into smaller pieces, that is how we'll be able to solve these codes. So what you first need to do is you're going to go in the About section and go to codingBat. You're going to click on Java. You want to create an account. It's going to be in the top right-hand side. You're going to use your school ID number. All right. So I'll walk you through the first one. I've already solved a bunch of these, so I'm just going to delete off and explain. All right, so if I go to hello name, let me just delete this off. All right, so what we want is we're given, so it gives us a situation. Given a string name, like Bob, we need to return a greeting of the form hello Bob with an exclamation mark. So we need to return exactly this. Okay, now we learned system.out.println. This is a little bit different because this is a method, and we'll get into it, but a method is still going to include brackets that you have to have code be inside of the two brackets. Okay, if ever you are not sure if you have enough brackets, you can highlight one and it'll show the pair, the other one, and you just make sure that your code is inside it. So then here's our cases. If we're using that method called hello name, that's what this is, and I put Bob in, I need it to say hello Bob. If I put using the method hello name and I put Alice in, I need it to say hello Alice. If I put the name X in for the hello name method, I need it to say hello X. Now all a method is just a way that I can reuse code in a bunch of different situations. They're really not hard to write. We'll get into the pieces, but if I don't see a void in it, so it doesn't say public void and then the name, then it means that it has to return something. And in this case, it has to return something that's a string. So we learned strings from Solo Learn. So that means that the first piece that I'm going to need to do is I'm going to have to type return. Now, what am I going to return? I need to return something that's going to say hello, and then it's going to return this. So using concatenation, I could use parentheses, and I could say, well, return hello, and I need to put a space, and then I'm going to add to that line whatever is put in. So this is a parameter. This method is saying that it takes a name, that's the name of it, that is a string type. That means that is words. So all these you're just dealing with words. So whatever they put in as a string type, so whatever they put in that's a text, like Bob, I want to spit back out. So I'm going to put a plus and I'm going to type name. I'm not going to type Bob. If I type Bob, it will only work for one case. So if you guys want to see it like that, if I type Bob, and then we know that we need to have an exclamation mark to finish it off. And then with every line, I need to finish off with a semicolon. So if I click go, now what's it saying? It's saying missing a bracket or a legal start of expression. So what did I do? Well, I have quotes here. This, well, that's technically actually also a string, so that should be quotes, and this should be quotes, because I didn't define those as variables, which we're going to get into a little bit more. on close string literal to. Well, if I look here, I see that I have 2 quotes on there, so that doesn't make sense. All right, so now we spit out, and here is the cases that they gave us, and then it's going to have a whole bunch of other ones, because the idea of doing objective-oriented programming is that I want to write my code so that it works well for every situation, not just for one. So here, I have Hello Bob printing out exactly what I want. It does print out Hello Bob, but it prints out Hello Bob every time, which means that it's failing every other name. So what I want to change, and a lot of times when I'm doing my coding, is I'll get it to work in some cases and then start fixing it so it'll work in all cases. So instead of saying Bob, I want to put in what they put in for that string. Now here, if they type Bob, Alice, or X, for the method, it's actually going to be stored as a name. And so I can use the word name as like a keyword for my variable to be able to pull up whatever they typed in. So if I type name, but in this case, it's a variable, so I do not need the double quotes. And I could go ahead and hit search again, or go again. And now when someone puts in Bob in there, I'm returning hello space what their name is. They put Bob, and then I'm adding the exclamation mark to it, so it works for hello Bob. If they put hello Alice, Alice is getting stored as name, and I'm using that word name to bring up what they have. So hello space Alice, hello space X, hello space Dolly, hello space Alpha. That's why all of these work. Any case that they put in anything inside of this method is going to return a string type that is going to be of the words hello space whatever name they type and finishing off with an exclamation mark. This is how you kind of work through the codingBat. Go ahead and watch this video and try out the first one, the hello name, and then go ahead and hit next and try out the next one, the one that's ABBA. These are really good exercises to get used to be able to do. Will help you start thinking in code, which is what we want. All right.